Hey guys, Tylord here with a movie and video games pickup video. Found quite a few movies this week and a few games actually. I'm getting lucky at Rasputin's recently because it was a drought with no games for a while. Ever since I went back to work, I've been finding games there. But I'll get to the games first. I have a lot of Blu-rays, DVDs, and VHS tapes. Not that I'm getting into VHS tapes, but there was a few I could not pass up for 50 cents. But we'll start off with the video games. I know that's the most popular thing. And all of these games I spent 20 bucks on. That's usually more than I spent at Rasputin's. And it seems like they're starting to price them a little higher. I don't know, that might go away, or it might depend on the title. But before I would find a lot of PS2 and original Xbox games for like 50 cents or a buck, but they're getting a little bit more, but still better prices than I can find anywhere else. Anyway, we'll start with a PS3 game I found for $1.95, and it is Devil May Cry 4, PlayStation 3 version. It comes with a book, very nice. I have this game on 360. I played it before and I enjoyed it. I just remember it being very difficult. I got so far into the game and I couldn't get past a certain area. So I don't think I ever beat this. So I don't know if I'm going to keep this in my PS3 collection. I'm trying to build that up. Or I don't know if I'm going to get rid of it, but yeah, this was a fun game from what I played of it, although very difficult later on. And then speaking of Devil May Cry, here is looks like it came from a video rental store, Devil May Cry 5 on PS4. Yeah, it looks like it has a Fresno County Library. It's a library copy from Fresno. Games are not in the case. Maybe that why it was so cheap. $4 for a kind of a newer, looks like it's in good condition, a newer PlayStation 4 video game. Yeah, it has like a big sticker over it from the library. Maybe that's why it was so cheap. San Joaquin Valley Library System. Yeah. Very cool. But it says property of Fresno County Library on the inside. I don't know anything about this one. I know this goes back to the original series, like it's a sequel of 4. I know they made that like reboot. I wasn't really into the Devil May Cry series, so I don't know much about that. PlayStation 2. This one was $6, but I had to get it. I never see PS2 games. Virtua Fighter 4, the original release. I have the updated one. What is it called? I can't even remember what it's called. Like the Special Champion Edition of 4. And I like that one, but since I like fighting games and I like to collect them, and I have a PS2, so I might as well get this Greatest Hits version and put it in my library. And it has the book and it's in good condition. Virtua Fighter 4. I like this series. To tell the truth, I probably played Virtua Fighter 5 more than any of them. And I hate to admit it, but I've played all of them except for Virtua Fighter 3. I've never even touched. And I barely touched Virtua Fighter 2. Although my buddy Dave sent me a nice, beautiful copy of Virtua Fighter 2 on Sega Saturn that I have displayed in my room. But I haven't even really spent any time with that game. Mostly it's 3, 4, 5, and 1 I played. But I love the Virtua Fighter series. And the last game I got, I kind of paid up for this. I've never seen an Xbox game that are this expensive, $10. True Crime Streets of New York. The sequel to True Crime Streets of LA. I remember I had this on GameCube, but I got rid of it or gave it to someone. I kind of was getting out of video games around that time, so I didn't finish it. But from what I played of it, it was a really cool action, open world, like Grand Theft Auto type game. And so I kind of want to get back to this one and play it. The thing that turned me off about the first one, although I really like LA, was the the camera control was inverted and you can't change it back, and I just can't, my mind can't do that. Every time I play a game with inverted camera controls, it F's me up, and then when I go back to play other games, I can't do it, so I just have to stick to non-inverted. But I think this one had non-inverted camera controls, or at least you could change it. You couldn't do it in LA. But I'm kind of looking forward to playing this one. This one, I think he's like a vigilante cop type guy. This guy in New York doing missions, kind of similar to the first one, like the cop with an attitude. Okay, that's it for the games. And I haven't been playing many games this week because I've been back to work. I never got to Rise of the Dragon, and I still haven't beaten Eternal Champions. I'm getting close, though. I'm gonna have to. The thing with Eternal Champions is I can't practice on the boss, because every time you die to him, you have to start all the way over at the beginning of the game. So, and I can get to him pretty easily. It just takes a while, but it takes forever. I can't practice on the boss, so I'm probably gonna have to download a ROM and get to the boss on the ROM and then save state so I can practice on him. And then I'll go back and beat it on the original hardware. It's tough, though. The boss on Eternal Champions has 5 phases, and you have 1 health bar. It gives you a little bit of health back every time you beat a phase. But still, you have to beat them all in 1 round, all 5 phases of the guy. Well, that's enough video game talk. Let's get on to the movies. Well, I'll start off with my Dollar Tree pickups. I actually found, I always knock the Dollar Tree, like everyone's all on the Dollar Tree like it's the best thing for movies, and it never impressed me much, although I have found some good ones there. But this week it did do me good. The Dollar Tree, I must have just gone there when they had a nice drop. I'm really happy with one of the movies I got there. And here's another one, Godfather Part 2 on DVD, which I did not have. I don't really collect the Godfather movies. I like them, but I'm not super into them like everyone else. Francis Ford Coppola's Godfather is probably my favorite of the series. I like 1, and from what I remember, I like 3, but I fell asleep through it, and that's a rare for me. I never fall asleep through movies. But this one goes back in the time. It has two stories going on. Current time, which is like the 70s, and then back in the day, Vito Corleone, played by Marlon Brando, but back in the day in Sicily, he was played by Robert De Niro. So, this Michael Corleone is Al Pacino. Robert Duvall's back. Diane Keaton's back from the first one. Yeah, cool movie. It's been a while since. Not really something I watch all the time. Everyone says this is their favorite movie, and I can't argue with it that it's not a good movie, but I'm really not into those. But I am into Dolph Lundgren movies now. I like it. Check out this, what I found at the Dollar Tree, Dolph Lundgren collection here. It looks like the CD fell out, but I had to get this because I'm kind of a fan of his. A lot of his movies let me down, but a lot of them like really do it for me. And this one has Bridge of Dragons, which I haven't seen. And I think that one has Roy Scheider in it. Oh, no, it doesn't. It has Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa in it, though, so who was also with him in Showdown in Little Tokyo. Like, Peacekeeper is the one with Roy Scheider is in here. And it's got Blackjack. I've seen that's a John Woo movie, and I didn't really care for it, but it wasn't bad. And then The Sweepers, which I haven't seen. So I thought for $1.25, I might as well get that, so I can watch Peacekeepers and Bridge of Dragons and Sweepers. So I might get back to those one day. Here's a wonderful DVD I found. Fan Favorites 5 DVD collector's set of Twilight Zone. Excellent stuff right there, huh? And it has 19 classic episodes. And probably all the best episodes I remember are here. I remember this was really popular when I was a kid, the reruns. This is way before my time, But you gotta love this show. It really made you think. Really creative. Really set your mind loose. Like really creative, thought-provoking episodes in this. Back in the '60s, Rod Serling was the host, and this has all kinds of big names in there. Check it out. William Shatner, the one with the gremlins on the side of the plane. So this is gonna have all the good ones. Art Carney. Robert Redford, Burgess Meredith. I've seen a few with him. Lee Marvin, all kinds of big names. Charles Bronson, I don't remember him. I know, yeah. Ron Howard, of course, was in the one. All kinds. 19 episodes, though, so probably all of my favorites are in here. I'm sure I haven't seen every episode, but it's really cool to have this Twilight Zone compilation from the Buck-25 bush. Okay, so I thought I was going to be a big hero and get these for my wife. She's a big Star Trek fan. I got her Star Trek Beyond and Star Trek Into the Darkness, the last two movies of the new reboot, or sort of like a sequel / reboot series, like an alternate universe of the William Shatner one. But these were pretty good, fun movies. I think they were J.J. Abrams. Oh, this one's Justin Lin right here. But these were pretty fun movies. But I got them for my wife because she's into Star Trek movies. I didn't really, she already had these on Blu-rays. I thought she had them on DVD and I was upgrading them for her. But got those Buck-25 though. That's a pretty good deal for these. Star Trek movies. And then a couple of video game movies. I just had to pick these up, although I'm not really a fan of this series, although it's pretty good from what I played of it. Dragon Age, Dawn of the Seeker. Don't know anything about that. Blu-ray though, Buck-25, got it. And then Mass Effect Paragon Lost. I don't know anything about this animated movie. It's got BioWare production, BioWare and Visionary Production IG that did Ghost in the Shell, Kill Bill Volume 1. And must be an anime of Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect 1. I've played through it like 5 times. Unfortunately, I kind of got out of gaming again that time, and I never played through part 2 or 3. But part 1, I freaking love that game. I'm sure the others are just as good, but part 1, that really did it for me. They really put a lot of effort into the lore and the mythos and the story and the world in this game. Kind of like a new Star Wars or Star Trek. But I don't know about this movie at all. Oh. Looks like it has all kinds of features on it too. I think that was a good deal. Yeah, it's true. I bought those movies and I don't regret it. Okay, here we go. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. Okay, I had to get this movie. I can't believe I found this. It's probably one of my favorite Dollar Tree pickups here. The Human Tornado. This is Dolomite 2 with Rudy Ray Moore. I have Dolomite on DVD, but I didn't have Human Tornado. This is a sequel. And so I'm happy to have this. It doesn't look like it has too many features. I Dolomite Part 2 featurette and original theatrical trailers. So I was hoping to have more extras than that, but this one is this one's the sequel to Dolomite, which I really enjoyed. Kind of like a 70s black exploitation movie, if you could call it that. Like it's a lot of action, a lot of comedy, a lot of sexuality. Really vulgar movie, but really entertaining. Rudy Ray Moore is pretty funny. He does like a stand-up comedy thing at the beginning at this club, and he's insulting the audience members and making fun of this fat guy and this fat wife, and making fun of this guy, calling him he's ugly and his lips are big. Like, he was pretty brutal with the comedy. And then the movie's like an action movie. It's really kooky. I think it might even be more kooky than the first one, Dolomite. Really fun though. It's like all of his buddies are having this party up on this mansion on a hill, and it's like in a southern town, and the sheriff doesn't like all those colored folks up there having fun, so he goes and raids the party, and he finds out Dolomite's in the back room with his wife, the white sheriff's wife. So he has one of his guys shoot his wife, and they're trying to kill Dolomite. The sheriff, they're all the cops. But then they have a big shootout, and Dolomite runs away with his buddies. One of them's Ernie Hudson, my favorite Ghostbuster. I didn't realize he was in movies back in the 70s this early. One of his buddies is Ernie Hudson. But they run away to California, where Queen Bee from the last movie has her club. They actually hijack this gay white guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm happy to be hijacked. I'm going to California." Like, this movie is so kooky. But Dolomite ends up going to California, and Queen Bee's club has been shut down by the rival club owner. Like, and he took a couple of the dancers hostage, a couple of the girls hostage, and threatening Queen Bee, "Shut down the club, or I'm gonna kill your broads," or whatever. And then he puts them in this weird torture chamber. But so Dolomite comes in, and then Dolomite's to the rescue with his crew. And that other girl in here, her name's like Annie Hurricane. She's really smoking hot. They're helping out Queen Bee. They finally rescue the girls at the end. But there's a lot of really uncomfortable moments in this. Like, you can't. It was hard for me to watch it when I saw this at the gym. I was watching it on Tubi. It's available on Tubi, by the way. Like, there's all kinds of sex scenes and vulgarity in this, but pretty entertaining. Like, he goes, he's pretending to be an art salesman, and he goes up to the bad guy's house, and the bad guy's wife opens it up. She's like a really pretty white lady, and he's showing her this picture. He's like, I'm selling this art work, and it's like a picture of a black guy and a white woman like embracing, and it's making her all horny, and she's all rubbing herself, and then she has this fantasy dream where she's being all of these black dudes are all like studly black dudes are all coming out of this toy box and coming into, and she's filling them up. It's a really weird scene, and then it cuts to Dolomite in bed with her. I hate to get so vulgar. Dolomite's in bed with her, and the bed's shaking around, and the walls are cracking, and it's like an earthquake, and the building's falling apart. Like, it's a weird movie. Okay, I'll stop right there. And I got an extra copy for my buddy Fred, because I know he's a fan of these. Okay, and then I guess that's it for the $1.25 stuff. I'll move on to the the Rasputin finds. Okay, I was happy to find this for $1. Undisputed 2, Last Man Standing. I've never seen it, unfortunately. Although I'm a fan of Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins. I think this is the thing that made Scott Adkins famous, this movie. He plays the bad guy, or the antagonist. But this is a sequel to that Walter Hill movie, Undisputed. Like, one of my favorite movies. It's really awesome prison boxing movie. And I don't know anything about this other than it's a sequel, and it might have a similar concept, but they're kickboxing now inside this prison. I think it's set in another country. Russia. It must be set in a Russian prison. And Michael Jai White, he might be the... I'm not sure how this plays out. All I do know is Isaac Florentine is the director, and I really like his movies. So that's another reason I've been wanting to watch this. Isaac Florentine did Savat, and all kinds of movies I liked. Desert Kickboxer, and Cold Harvest with Gary Daniels. Like, he's in a lot of cool movies I like. I can't name them all right now. Yeah, Boyka, there's the character Scott Adkins plays. I remember he got really famous from that role. So I gotta watch this one. I'm hoping it's as good as the first one with Wesley Snipes. I hear good things about that. Speaking of more martial arts movies, oh man, I'm super happy I found this. Ring of Fire 3, Lion Strike with Don the Dragon Wilson, a PM Entertainment movie directed by Rick Jacobson. Rick Jacobson's directed a lot of these Don the Dragon Wilson movies. And I think he's moved on to bigger things now. Like he's like a big, he's big in television or something, or Hollywood. But who cares about that? It's all about these 90s martial art action movies right here with Don the Dragon Wilson. He plays the same guy as he did in Ring of Fire 1 and 2. Ring of Fire 1 I have on DVD, but Ring of Fire 2 I cannot find that. That's not released here anywhere. It's all European. I think there's a laser disc of it, but it goes for like $100. But freaking Ring of Fire 2 is freaking a blast. It's like the freaking craziest movie you ever seen. I can't wait to get a hold of a copy of that. And hopefully Vinegar Syndrome or something gets a hold of that. I don't know why, but I didn't realize there was a Region 1 version of this. So I find everything at Rasputin, so I had to get this. A PM Entertainment, Pepin and Merhi production. And he plays the same guy. He's the Kung Fu doctor. This time he's going on vacation with his son. I think his girlfriend from the other movies is dead or something. I don't know, but he's going with his son on a trip out to the wilderness, and somehow the mafia is after him. Oh yeah, he gets a duffel bag or something, or he gets in a scuffle, or he helps someone. It was like a chase scene at the beginning. He gets hold of a duffel bag or something, and it has something important to the mafia in there. But he ends up going on his trip with his son to the wilderness, and he meets this really cute woman. There's really pretty blonde. She's played by Bobby Phillips from TC2000. She plays the TC2000 android in TC2000. And I guess she's not a martial artist, but every movie I've seen her in, she does good, cool martial arts. So I think they get her for these type of things because she's really athletic. But she's like the park ranger or a cop or something he meets, and they fall in love. So the mafia is after them. It kind of turns into like a cliffhanger type movie, like Wilderness. Like he's picking off all the bad guys in the wilderness. They're after him. So I think this is a pretty cool movie. Lion Strike with Don the Dragon Wilson. Here's another PM Entertainment I got for $1 with one of my favorite actors right here, Lou Gossett Jr. And it's got Malcolm McDowell in there. This is a pretty cool action suspense movie. It kind of plays on the Y2K bug paranoia back then. So apparently this missile silo that in South America that the United States has a nuclear missile in there. And some kind of bug in the system set it to go off in the year 2000 or whatever, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. They have to like go into the facility, and this facility was built like in the 70s, so there's not many people around left. But Lou Gossett Jr. is one of the guys that worked on it, and he's kind of getting old now, like he's kind of middle-aged, but he's still a pretty badass guy in this. So the government, or Malcolm McDowell's like the head admiral or whatever, he gets a hold of Lou Gossett Jr. to go in with the team to get into this facility to turn the missile off. And it's a pretty cool movie. Like he takes his team of guys. One of them, the guy that leads the team is that guy, is his name Edo Ross. He has like a pretty cool voice. He's like the head military guy that goes in with him. And he kind of turns out to be the bad guy. Like they end up hijacking the thing, a couple soldiers, and then Lou Gossett Jr. brings in this nerdy hack guy because they need a hacker to get into the system. There's this young nerdy guy that's like a hacker. I can't think of the actor's name. They need him to get into this facility to help him out to hack. So they need Lou Gossett Jr. and this young nerdy guy to get in there, and then they meet this beautiful Russian woman along the way. Like she's I forget the reason she's there, if she's a spy or whatever, but they become friends with her. But then the guy, what's his name, Edo Ross, ends up double crossing them all, and he's gonna set off the missile. He's like bitter because he was in the military and he got sick from a virus, and the government didn't do anything about it, so he's gonna just blow up New York. So Lou Gossett Jr. gets away and he runs into these old like Cuban warlords, or not Cuban, whatever country this is, these South American warlords. I guess they were kind of at it with each other during the Cold War, but now they're buddies. Like, he needs their help to get back into this facility. Yeah, so he goes with them to break back into the facility, and I think they kidnap the nerdy guy and the girl. But it's a pretty cool action movie. PM Entertainment, directed by Richard Pepin, directs it. I think it's pretty cool. I think if this would have been a big budget movie, like with Nicolas Cage and like Clint Eastwood, like everyone would be all over this movie. But freaking what's his name? I think he's as cool as anyone. Lou Gossett Jr. Like, he doesn't go weak with the acting on anything I've seen him, and he brings it in this movie. So I thought this was a fun movie. I'm a fan of Lou Gossett Jr., so I'm keeping this in my collection. Here's another one. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm not going to talk about it. Tommy Lee Jones in A Volcano, directed by Mick Jackson. I saw this at the show when I was younger. I remember I enjoyed it, but it's kind of forgettable. I remember he's kind of an older guy, and he like gets with like a young girl in this. Was it Anne H? But did she pass away? I thought my wife was saying she passed away, poor thing. But anyway, this is like, I remember this came out at the same time as Dante's Peak with Linda Hamilton and Pierce Brosnan, but this one's in the city, and Dante's Peak's up in Idaho. I think is this in LA? Yeah, it must be in LA. With the volcano disaster action thriller movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. The reason why I got it was $1, and I remember Mario's buddy, I think his name's Hank. He has a YouTube channel. He's a really knowledgeable guy, really movie nerd guy. If I'm not mistaken, he's saying this is kind of hard to find. I might be wrong about that, but I guess there's never been a Blu-ray of this. I remember he picked this up. It was either this or Dante's Peak, or Dante's Inferno, or Dante's Peak. Yeah, Dante's Peak. It was one of those. I'm thinking it was this, so he said it was hard to find. So I think I better get this for my collection before it goes up in price, or it's hard to find. Or I can sell it. So that's it for my my DVDs, my VHS. I found quite a few good ones this week. I don't know if they're good or not, but wow. I don't know if this is worth anything. I haven't looked into it. Kid Mark's Dragon Ball Curse of the Blood Rubies. It's not sealed. It's open on the bottom, but I thought everyone's all up on Dragon Ball, so this has got to be worth something. It has a little insert for a Dragon Ball special CD offer in there. But I'm not. I hate to say it, but I've never seen Dragon Ball once in my life, or Dragon Ball Z. I know all the kids are into it, like around a little bit younger than I am, like kids like 30 to like 20. They're all about this. Like, they know everything about it, and they're always talking about it, like football. Like they like go on and on about this show. The kids at my work, or maybe a little bit. Some of the kids like in their early 30s and their 20s are always on about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. So I'm thinking this might be worth something, or if not, I'll give it to someone. I don't want to start this because I might end up liking it, and then I'll have way too much crap to watch. Dragon Ball, very cool. Oh, here's a cool Chuck Norris movie, Breaker Breaker. I thought I should get that for 50 cents. This is a cool trucker movie. The truckers go through this little crooked town out in the middle of nowhere, and I think the sheriff steals their trucks and takes them hostage or something, or tries to jack them, and then Chuck Norris starts taking them all out, and then at the end he has all of his trucker buddies come level this town. It's pretty cool. You don't think everyone doesn't hype up Chuck Norris movies too much, but but he was pretty big, and his movies were pretty good in the 70s, actually. This was one of them. This might be one of my favorite top 5 Chuck Norris movies. Definitely Silent Rage is on top, and Firewalker with Lou Gossett Jr. There's quite a few good ones. Okay, I had to get this because it's one of my favorite childhood movies, and I've never seen it on VHS over there. Jason and the Argonauts with the Ray Harryhausen special effects, directed by Don Chaffee. The classic Greek mythology movie here. I think I forgot what goddess it is, Hera, or one of them is Honor Blackman that played Pussy Galore in Goldfinger. I noticed a lot of these Ray Harryhausen fantasy movies have Bond girls in them. I think most of them do, one or another. Yeah, this is a fun movie. The stop-go animation with the skeleton fight at the end, the giant Poseidon or Neptune or whatever, is it Poseidon? That holds apart the canyon as the boat goes by. All kinds of cool stuff. The harpies, that giant, I forgot who it was, that giant iron monster that picks up the boat, and really cool movie. Yeah, Jason and the Golden Fleece, or Jason and the Argonauts. Cool, I'm glad to have that on VHS. And then a couple romantic time travel movies, and these are probably in my top 5 or top 10 time travel movies. Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour, another Bond girl, who was actually in one of the Sinbad movies. Oh man, what a looker. And Christopher Plummer's in this. Fantastic, really beautiful, like, romantic time travel movie. Like, really great movie. Music score by John Barry, directed by Gino Schwark that directed Jaws 2. So fantastic director right there. Two of the great movies that he did, and there's more of them, but Somewhere in Time and Jaws 2 looks great on the resume if you're trying to impress me and I'm your boss. No? Okay. Yeah, great movie. I think, but I forgot, he goes back in time to 1912, like a cool 1912 sets. Very cool. And then another one with Michael Paré and Nancy Allen from RoboCop. The Philadelphia Experiment, one of my favorite other time travel movies, kind of romantic too. The soldier from the 40s during World War II, they're doing some kind of stealth experiment with like a battleship or a sub, and somehow it sends it into the future, and this guy ends up in the 80s, and the government's out to find him. He doesn't know what's going on. Michael Paré, probably one of the best Michael Paré movies other than Streets of Fire, Walter Hill's Streets of Fire. And this one's directed by Stuart Raphael. Executive producer John Carpenter. Is that the same John Carpenter? Yeah, cool time travel movie, kind of cool action, suspense, romance. He meets this 1980s girl, Nancy Allen, and she helps him out. Really cool, like a little adventure time travel movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. The last two I really struck gold with. Okay, here's one directed by Alex Phillips Jr. I don't even know if that's his name. It's probably an Italian guy, and he just used that fake name. This is a cool Italian fantasy movie, Sorceress. I'll have to look into the director. I'm not sure about it. Really cool fantasy, like low budget, like fantasy sorcery movie about this evil sorcerer that tries to kill this woman who's she has some kind of powers, but she has 2 twin daughters, and they get away, but the sorceress kills her. But the twin daughters are like, have special abilities. They grew up to be these super hot warrior women, Lee Harris and Lynette Harris, and they go on an adventure with a little dwarf guy. He's like part fawn, part dwarf or something, and they're trying to take down this sorcerer. It's been a while since I've seen this, but those females are freaking gorgeous in here. Trigon, a dystopic ruler and devotee of black arts, is driven by tremendous will to power to become master of the world. He makes the pact with powers of darkness that he will sacrifice the firstborn in order to gain highest degree of supernatural force. His wife flees with her 2 newborn babies to pursue. Oh, that's what it is. It's his wife and his unborn babies. His wife flees with the newborn twins, pursued by Trigon and his warriors. He tortures her, but she refuses to reveal which twin is firstborn. The dying mother kills Trigon with her last strength, but Trigon dies, vowing he will return to fulfill his purpose. 20 years later, Trigon returns and sends his evil warriors through the Empire to find the twins, but the twins have been given secret powers to use to call the forces of light. Now the forces of light and the powers of darkness must clash in order to decide whom will be the victor. Okay, so yeah, but the twins, like when one is hurt, the other feels pain, like Tomaz and Xamot. So they like feel each other's pain. It kind of reminds me of the Crimson Tint twins from G.I. Joe, only hot blonde females. And they're good, not villains like the Crimson Twins. Yeah, really fun movie. This is actually available on Tubi also if you're interested in it. And then this one, oh, I looked this up on eBay and it looks like it's going for a lot of money. So I might end up just selling this. It's The Driller Killer. I don't know anything about this. I just figured this has got to be worth something. So I got it was 50 cents. I got to shut up about Rasputins. I got to go in there and get all this stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'll do that whatnot thing and try to get money from this or sell it. Or maybe I'll just keep it or give it to one of my buddies that collects VHS tapes. But I see this is going for a lot on eBay. Even if it's in, like, cut up in a case like this. A rental case. And look at this, fantastic, for 50 cents. This is obviously from a video rental store. Oh, Victory at Tampa, Loman's Plaza, with a phone number. I wonder where that is. Is that from Florida? Anyway, but I don't know anything about this. The blood runs in rivers, and the drill keeps tearing through flesh and bone. As the drill finds its victim, the driller killer. Directed by Abel Ferreira, produced by Mavoran Films, Caroline Mars, Jimmy Lane, and Baby Doll. I don't know anything about this. I probably should have watched it. This is available on Tubi also. The Driller Killer, by day struggling artist Reno paints to survive. Sharing the seamy squalor of his New York pad are Carol and Pamela. Reno tries hard to keep them happy. The pulsating paranoia of the city squirms and crawls in his psyche. The feverish shadow world of the Lower East Side seeps into his subconscious. Rape, murder, terror. His mind splits under the strain. By night, armed with a protractor electric drill, Reno commits his first drill killing. His homicidal half spills the brain of an innocent victim over the sidewalks in the city. Carol abandons him. Rock Rouser, Tony Coca-Cola, Rock Rouser, Tony Coca-Cola, and the Roosters move into the apartment below and begin blasting his brain to oblivion. His art dealer criticizes his latest work. Reno responds with a fast finger of the trigger of the drill kill. The screen releases the dream of energy, black as night and blood as real as love. Plug into terror with the driller killer. Sounds good. I'm gonna have to watch it, and then I'll decide whether I'm gonna keep it or not. Anyone, let me know about this if you've seen it. I don't know if I read that properly. Tony Coca-Cola, Rock Krauser, Tony Coca-Cola, and the Roosters. Must be a rock band that moves in under him or something. Wizard video. Yeah, and that's about it. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. That's it for the movies and pickups. Let me know if you know anything about those that I should. Thanks for stopping by, and later.